welcome our new wellness partners, the Neighborhood Harvest. We're so excited to have them here. I know you all are too. This class filled up immediately. We will be having others. Give other people an opportunity. Don't come back again. Emily and Thomas are here from Neighborhood Harvest. They're going to tell us about the wellness part of their growing, their farm, and their greens and everything else that they sell. And then we're going to have the salads, and then we're going to talk some more. So talk, eat, talk. Yeah. All right, take it away, guys.
Great.
Start?
I'll actually jump in. Hi everyone, how are you doing?
Hello.
My name's Thomas. I'm one of the owners of the Neighborhood Harvest, and Emily is actually going to be the star of the show. I'm going to let her talk all about the wellness, run you through it. I'm just here to help. I just wanted to come to this event to say hello, introduce myself, because we are your guys' neighbor. Our farm is right here in Suffolk. We're on Turlington Road, and so when we talk about local produce, that eat fresh, buy local movement, I don't know if all of you live in Suffolk, but you certainly work here. We are hyper local. We are your guys' neighbors, and we've enjoyed working with the city of Suffolk. They've always been great to work with. Everything, from permitting to economic development, helping us, try and keep growing our business. And we're really happy to be here. I just wanted to give you a brief history about how we ended up here, because we've got a customer up front actually said she enjoyed the story so much that I should share it with you guys. So this concept of the Neighborhood Harvest, right? It's hydroponic greenhouse farming. Ask, how did that end up on Turlington Road in Suffolk? Well, I asked myself the same question. I grew up outside of Chicago. I went to school at William & Mary, and when I was there, I took a class at the business school, and it was sustainability in the food industry. And I took the class because I needed a sustainability credit. I was not an ag major. I was a government major, and I was planning on like an intelligence, maybe a military career. Totally different from what I'm doing now. And my midterm project, was about small local growing for restaurant chains, right? Because that's what we were looking at, was the food industry and how can restaurants be more sustainable. And we broke into teams. We were like a consulting firm, right? And some of the teams did stuff like trying to take flat top roofs and put solar panels on them so you can maybe bring some of these restaurants off the grid a little bit, trying to look at recycling water from big parking lot areas and how can so all sorts of projects. We looked at doing small hydroponic greenhouses, either on flat rooftops, maybe at the edge of a big parking lot. And the conclusion that I came to, at being this kind of mock consulting group, was that it was a horrible idea, actually. That it was a really good way to lose money. That hydroponic greenhouses didn't make sense below a certain size. You really had to do about 18,000 square feet or bigger. Otherwise, there was no sustainability to the model. And so the two people who were teaching the class said, that's really interesting. We want you to go back and for your final project, pretend you've got this restaurant group that's insistent. They're like, no, we want to do it. You've told us our first idea won't work, so tell us what will work. And that was my final project. I went back, I looked at an 18,000 square foot model. What does it take to do? Really delved into it. And the two people who were my professors for that class are now my two business partners. They liked it so much that they asked me over the summer, like, we want to really try this out. Now the model has evolved a little bit from when we first opened 4 years ago, but that is how we ended up at this place. And so the people who own the land where we built were actually John Stein, one of my business partners, just his neighbors. And like, well, we got a field out in Suffolk, and we're not planning on building houses on it for another 20 years. So if you want some of it, you can start your farm. And that's how we ended up in your guys' neck of the woods. So thank you for being so welcoming to us, and thank you for letting us come today and talk to you about what we do.
Awesome. Thanks, guys. So it's fun. I was telling Becky earlier, I do these lunch and learns all the time, and I think maybe twice we've gotten to have Thomas come out because he's very, very busy running the farm. So this is a special treat that we get to have him. So thank you so much for the intro.
No problem. Happy to be here.
So I'm going to talk to you guys a little bit about sort of health and wellness, kind of how and why to eat greens. Hopefully way more interesting than that sounds. This is interactive, so I'm going to ask you guys questions. You can ask me questions. Please feel free. You can just shout things out. You don't even have to raise your hands. And let's start with, well, for this one, I do need you to raise your hand. So how many of you guys have a health or wellness goal of any kind? Let's see, show of hands. Any kind of goal. All of you guys, awesome. You don't have to be achieving the goal currently. You just have to have one. But you guys already put it all out there. That's amazing. So we are really passionate about helping you guys or helping support you guys in your quest to meet your health and wellness goals. So that's part of why we do these lunch and learns, is that we want to invest some education and hopefully some resources into our community. So that leads me to my second question. Do you guys know why it's important to eat greens besides like grandma said you should? Any ideas?
Vitamins and nutrients.
Vitamins? Yeah, that's good. Fiber. Yeah, any other ideas? Those are like the two big ones, so.
Protein.
Protein.
Some grains.
Anyone else? You feel better? Yeah. These are great. These are great answers. I've been doing some research the past few months just because I talk about greens all the time, and I wanted to know if there was more to why we should eat them than just we should. And some really interesting things that I found about eating greens. One is that they can increase your energy and your brain acuity. So if you're working on those really highly detailed things and you need a little more brain sharpness, or you're starting to feel that like brain fog, getting some more greens in your diet can help. They can help with your eye and your skin health. They can help fight cancer. They can fight aging brain diseases like Alzheimer's. They can help with all kinds of things like that. Local greens can help with seasonal allergies. There's just a myriad of benefits that I feel like we don't typically think of beyond like the fiber and the vitamins. So my favorite scientific reason why you should eat more greens, there was a recent scientific study that showed if you eat at least one serving of fruits or vegetables per day, specifically those dark leafy greens, for about 6 weeks, you're scientifically proven to appear more attractive. So if your health is not a good enough motivator, attractiveness might be. I mean, Thomas is a good example of that. No, it's a real study. It's a real scientific study. But you guys are a really good-looking group, so I don't think you guys need any help. But if you want a little boost, on Harvard Business Review listed attractiveness as a way to add value to your customers. So you can win personally and professionally by eating more greens. So just a little idea. Do you guys eat greens currently? Yes? What are some ways that you incorporate greens in your diet? Salads, green smoothies, a side dish, like a salad or like?
Salad. Well, I'm into greens, collard greens, kale, spinach, and stuff like that.
Awesome. Do you cook them at all, or
Oh yeah.
like flash fry, like wilting them, or?
I do it all kinds of ways.
Awesome.
I add spinach to everything, like spaghetti sauce, it thickens it up. I put spinach, a handful of spinach, like everything. I think.
That's awesome.
Big fan of Swiss chard
Eggs.
lately.
Swiss chard. How do you eat it?
Lemon and garlic and saute it a little bit.
Nice. That sounds really good. Swiss chard. It's a green.
I'm like, that's me a south thing. I'm like, it's chard.
Yeah, it is kind of more of a southern thing. But he was just saying some lemon garlic. It's kind of like similar to collards probably. You might have more perspective on how to describe Swiss chard.
Swiss chard's great. We do a rainbow chard, not to pitch you on the product already, but we do a great rainbow chard, and so it's all these different colors. You've got these bright oranges,
really pretty.
Beautiful reds, dark, almost like pinks. Yeah.
Totally does. I love looking at rainbow chard. It's so pretty. And we'll get into some of that in a minute. I just love hearing like how you guys are incorporating greens. Any other ideas? Anyone back here? Juicing? Yeah, we were talking about that earlier. Yeah, these are great options. A lot of people, do you guys ever do greens with your breakfast? Like in the omelets, spinach in your eggs? Yeah. I actually lived in New York City for a few years, and one of the things that they did there that I hadn't really seen was like every brunch plate came with like spring mix as part of it,
Tomatoes in my egg.
which seemed odd. Yeah, you can put so many veggies, right? Yeah, that's awesome. Do you guys do like lettuce wraps? Do you do obviously like lettuce on your burgers, things like that? Have any of you guys heard of microgreens? Yes. Do you know anything about microgreens, or you've just vaguely heard of them in the wind? Okay. You've heard the word before. That's great. That's awesome. So microgreens are super fun. These are some spring mix microgreens. They are basically, this is not a good example because you're not going to be able to see it. I wanted to get you a bigger leaf. These are tiny baby greens. And so do any of you guys garden, or do you ever plant seeds in 3rd grade and watch them grow. So if you harvest them kind of around that 10-day, if you plant a seed that's going to grow a green plant, so like a spring mix, lettuces, and you harvest it at about 10 days, you get microgreens. So they're literally baby greens. And what's awesome about these, they're super flavorful, so they're really fun to add into eggs or put on the side of your meat or on tacos or all kinds of things. But they also have 5 times the nutrient value of a more mature plant of the same variety. So all of those things we were talking about, like adding energy, brain acuity, like cancer fighting, all of that, you're not going to get fiber because to the same degree because, you know, that comes from those bigger leaves. So if you're eating smaller leaves, you're not going to get the same fiber kick out of these, but all of the vitamins and nutrients, 5 times that amount in these tiny little guys. So, and some varieties can have up to 40 times the amount. They've been doing a lot of research on these, and they're really powerful. No one exactly knows why. It's something about harvesting them in that first, like, growing stage. They just have a lot of energy and a lot of potency to them. So what's great about these is you can add them to just about anything, and you're going to add a really high nutrient kick. So people put them on their toast every morning. I put them in my eggs all the time. You can put them, like, you could put them on your pizza, and you're going to get some nutrients. So if you're trying to add more nutritional value to your own diet, or if you have a partner or children or whoever that you're trying to, like, get to eat more healthy, this is a really great way to do it. Someone was telling me the other day that she, like, chops it up super fine and puts it in chili, and her grandkids never know that they're, like, getting all these vitamins, you know? So you guys are going to get to try some of these on your greens. In just one second, I have one last question for you guys. Thomas kind of referenced this, because we're, you know, your neighbors here in Suffolk. But do you guys see those, like, buy local, eat fresh, like, bumper stickers? What does that mean to you guys? Support the economy.
That's right. Good answer.
Yeah, totally. Anything else, like, as pertains to food? Like, do you guys buy local food? Have you had any experiences with local food? It's fresher, right? So the reason for that is that any organic substance that you cut off from its root immediately starts decomposing, right? So if you guys ever gone to the grocery store, you're like, I have these great wellness goals. I am going to eat salads this week. You buy yourself some salad mix, open it up, you make one salad. 3 days later, what do you find? Slimies, right? So the reason for that is because most grocery store lettuce is about 10 days old by the time you get it at the store. It's 10 days post-harvest. So all the time of, like, harvesting, transporting, warehousing, whatever, from California or Florida or wherever it may be, causes those to start breaking down. So the lettuce that you guys are about to eat, which I'll get into a little more on the other side of you getting your food, was harvested yesterday or
This
possibly
morning.
the day. It was harvested this morning. So you can't get greens this fresh unless you get them out of your own garden. So I want you guys to just think about that when you're tasting these and see, you know, what you think about it. And we'll kind of talk about that a little bit more on the other side of you grabbing food. So feel free to load up, bring them back, and we'll chat with you a little bit more.
At the Neighborhood Harvest, we believe in growing the absolute best produce possible, bringing it to your door in a way that's convenient and at a price that's affordable. The greens that we grow, the lettuces that we produce, are grown for you in a way that's very, very safe. They're never exposed to pesticides. They never have acid rain falling on them. And because we can cut them and deliver them to your house the day after they were harvested, you're going to be able to enjoy them when they're at the peak of their nutrient density.
I'm just recently diagnosed with cancer, and it was a very shocking diagnosis. During the chemotherapy, recovering from the surgery, I needed to have the most dense nutrients that my body could have. So one of my very thoughtful friends decided to sign my family up for the Neighborhood Harvest.
Organic-based nutrition breaks down over time. As soon as you harvest those plants,
they begin to lose that nutrient profile. By bringing it to you as quick as possible, you're able to enjoy it at its peak.
The taste is amazing. It has 2 to 3 times the nutrients of lettuces that are in the grocery store.
It's just nice to be able to take one thing out of your eating habits and know it's 100%.
You know that it's not being processed in a factory to be sitting on a grocery store shelf for 2 weeks at a time waiting for that consumer to come and choose it.
Our subscriptions are exactly that. It's a subscription. We want it to fit your needs. The products that we grow, that we tailor, we want to bring them to your house in the most convenient way possible. What I love is that it takes one chore off of your list. We grow the greens, we cut them, and we deliver them to your house the day after they're harvested.
We travel a lot, and the convenience of being able to go online and type in the date you're leaving and the date you're coming back, and then they figure out when to skip the deliveries.
It provides me with different produce that I wouldn't normally try. Then it gives us an opportunity to research it and try new things.
And as soon as you eat anything that comes from the Neighborhood Harvest, you know it's quality product.
We know that if you try the Neighborhood Harvest, you're going to love it. We don't require any agreements or contracts from our customers. You order the stuff, it's going to come to your door exactly how you expect it to, and you're going to want to get it week after week.
All right, I know a couple of people are still grabbing their food. For those of you who are eating, what do you think about your salads? Good?
I mean, you can definitely taste the difference. Nice, light, and light.
Awesome. Can you guys kind of taste the difference in these greens? Maybe a little more flavorful? Awesome. Awesome.
Is this a mix of everything that or a lot of?
It's our mesclun mix. So it's kind of like a spring mix. Yeah. So you guys are eating our mesclun mix and some microgreens. So I would encourage you, they can be pretty strong, but maybe like pick out one of the little microgreens and just eat it by itself so you get some of that flavor, because they're really, really tasty. So I'm going to tell you guys a little bit about what we actually do at the farm. The video, sort of pre-gamed for me a little bit, so if you guys were able to hear that, that did give a really awesome overview. But we would love to give you a little more detail and answer some of your questions. So like I said, we love supporting you guys in your wellness goals, helping give you access to this really great local produce.
Thomas, can you explain hydroponic? I don't know that everybody knows what that means in terms of growing hydroponic.
Sure.
I'm going to let you take that one.
I pop back in, don't mind me.
That
I'll
was great timing.
Sorry about I had to
I
actually
mean,
take
I
a
can
call.
give a small explanation, but we have the farmer, so you should certainly do it.
Yeah, so hydroponic, I don't know where the questions, if maybe we're just interested in it.
I know what it means, but I don't know
Yeah.
what everybody else knows.
So hydroponic, well, y'all know what hydro means. What is hydro? Where does hydro come from, right? Water, right? Ponic, Greek word for power, powered water. And so that's what hydroponics is, a way of growing, cultivating without soil. So some of the pictures you can see right there, oh well, not that one. But you'll see the little white gutters up front here. So these are virgin PVC, they're food grade. And the plants sit inside of them. And so these little troughs, they're all pitched, and you've got water constantly tumbling down them. And the plants are able to send out their roots. And now you say to yourself, how do you grow without soil? How come the plants don't rot? Because if you've got a low spot in your yard, right, maybe the grass won't grow there. If your garden is too waterlogged, you can't grow good stuff. And the reason is oxygen, right? And so we dissolve a bunch of oxygen into the water. We've got a pond aerator, like you see, big retention ponds and whatnot. We've got a pond aerator that's meant for like a 10-acre lake on our 2,000-gallon tank. So that tank is, if you 2 people go arm to arm, you can go around it. So it's a big tank, but it's not 10 acres. And so by having that huge piece of equipment on it, it super saturates the water with oxygen, right? There's a ton of dissolved oxygen. So as the water passes across the roots, it's an oxygen-rich environment. And so the plants are able to grow constantly in the presence of water. They're exposed to it. They're able to uptake it, survive those hot days, grow at any moment of the day when there's sunlight coming through, perform that perfect photosynthesis without having any of their roots rot. So hydroponic, the important part is not only the hydro, but the ponic, the powered water, that water's all the time moving. So yeah, that might have been a more detailed answer than you were interested in.
Do you put any nutrients in the water?
Yeah, so we have 2 different wells on our site that we're bringing up. We use a shallow well and a deep well, and those help us balance the pH. They bring up different nutrients from the ground, and we test that water frequently to know what are we bringing up out of the ground, what's already there. We augment and supplement the water with everything that we need. So we do add NPK, nitrogen, potassium, phosphorus. Those are the main elements that drive plant photosynthesis. What else is cool is that we also add trace minerals, things like boron, manganese, those trace vitamins and minerals that sometimes are not present in the soil. And so for that reason, hydroponics is really, really cool from a sustainability point of view. We're able to produce 16 times more per square foot than you can in a square foot in the field, and we do it with 95% less water. And the reason for that is not only the oxygen that we talked about in the water, but because we augment the water to a specific recipe, we take what's coming out naturally, supplement it, those plants are able to grow any moment of the day. Whenever there's sunlight that they can be performing photosynthesis with, they're able to do so, and they do it in, you hate to say in a perfect way, because that's not true. Nothing in nature is perfect. But they're doing it in a way that's almost perfect. And so they grow quicker, they grow healthier, and we're able to produce all year round.
I have a question.
Yes,
Is
ma'am.
it the same water that's constantly flowing and
Yes.
filtered constantly, so you're
And
really
exactly.
using a lot of water?
That's why you're able to use so much less water. The water, you can't really tell from this picture, you can a little bit, but the greenhouses are actually pitched. What you're looking at is the front, so the cameraman is standing at the back. It's pitched from the back to the front, and then it's also pitched side to side. And so the water is coming in at the front of these gutters, it trickles down this way, and then it hits a return pipe, and it shoots all the way back to the front of the greenhouse. When it gets back there, it goes back into that mixing tank where the pond aerator is at. We balance the water to adjust the pH, and so that water is recirculated through, and it's sent back out. Unlike in the field where you lose almost 50% of your water just to evaporation, and then you lose a bunch of it to runoff. That's why it's a really sustainable sort of thing. You can grow in the middle of the desert. You could, if you've got enough fuel, you could grow in the middle of the tundra. You got to keep the greenhouses warm, of course, but you can grow hydroponically anywhere in the world. And what I like about that is that this is definitely a more extensive answer than you were looking for, probably. Is from a sustainability perspective, I think that arable land and fresh water are two resources that are really, really precious, especially to a population that's growing. We have this bizarre circumstance where we're tearing down old growth forests, mowing through the rainforest in order to plant more banana trees. We have plenty of bananas. You can buy them for 50 cents a pound. And so we're destroying all this, healthy land in order to produce more human crops. Well, we can, with hydroponic greenhouse growing, you can take parking lots, you can take roofs, you can take land that has been destroyed from 50 years of being disked to grow feed corn for cattle, and you can grow these incredibly nutritious greens anywhere. So that's the long answer.
I have one more question.
Yes, ma'am.
What are those little things made of that you put the seedlings in? Is it paper, or the little
Yeah.
It's paper?
So we plant them, it's rock wool, actually. So it's basalt, lava rock. If you've like a pumice stone, that's the same thing. The rock is superheated, and then it's whipped like cotton candy. And so cotton candy is spongy, right? And it's made from sugar, so you can have rock candy, right? That's the same sugar that you can make into cotton candy if you just heat it and spin it. They do the same thing with the rock, that actual basalt rock. And so it's a great place for us to plant the seeds. They send their roots out, and it just stabilizes the plant. Like, not from a health perspective, like it literally just gives the plant somewhere to sit so it doesn't fall over. And that's why we use it.
And if you're interested in having a lunch and learn at your department, talk to me, and I'll work with Emily to get that scheduled, okay?